Rachel Reeves is under siege, and the criticism shows no signs of slowing down. The Labour Chancellor has found herself at the epicentre of a growing firestorm, accused by critics of delivering outright lies about national insurance policies. What began as a routine policy defence has now snowballed into a full-blown political crisis. Social media is ablaze, business leaders are fuming, and even members of her own party are quietly voicing concerns about the fallout. But don't just take our word for it. Watch this shocking clip of Rachel Reeves reacting to yet another contraction in the UK economy.
The numbers on GDP are disappointing, but it's not possible to turn around more than a decade of poor economic growth and stagnant living standards in just a few months. But you'll see from the plans we've been announcing, whether that is the energy reforms we've published today, the reforms to build 1.5 million homes that we published yesterday, the pensions reforms, the creation of a national wealth fund, this government are getting on with the job in improving economic growth and driving up living standards.
The clip captures Reeves looking visibly rattled, her expression a stark contrast to the confident rhetoric she has delivered in recent months. Her demeanour seems to reflect the unease gripping the nation as inflation creeps higher, wages stagnate, and businesses face mounting pressures. The UK economy has contracted for 2 consecutive months, inflation has ticked up to 2.6%, and job vacancies have plummeted to their lowest levels in over 2.5 years. Reeves sought to reassure the public earlier today with a statement posted on X, formerly Twitter, claiming, "Families are still struggling with the cost of living, and I'm fighting to put more money in the pockets of working people. That's why we protected their pay slips with no rise in their national insurance, income tax, or VAT." However, critics quickly dismantled her claims, pointing to Labour's decision to implement a 15% national insurance levy on wages exceeding £5,000. The measure, expected to generate £20 billion annually, has been touted as necessary to fund public services like the NHS and education. But economists warn the policy's ripple effects, higher costs for businesses, lower wages for workers, and inflationary pressures will undermine Reeves's stated goal of protecting working families. The backlash has been fierce. Social media erupted in outrage, with users accusing Reeves of misleading the public. One cutting response read, "You are making life harder for the average person with every decision." The anger isn't confined to social media. Business leaders are speaking out in droves, decrying the national insurance hike as a crippling blow to an already struggling private sector. Archie Norman, chairman of Marks and Spencer, delivered a particularly scathing critique. "If you put up national insurance to that extent, you're taking money out of profits, out of funds for investment, or for employing people. It's economics 101. The private sector's concerns are already manifesting in concrete ways. Jaguar Land Rover, a flagship UK manufacturer, announced plans to scale back significant investment projects in response to the increased employer national insurance contributions. Murray Paul, the company's public affairs director, testified before a Business and Trade Committee that these added costs were forcing JLR to unwind some investment planned for the next 5 years. While Paul declined to provide specific figures, he described the financial impact as a significant sum of money that could have gone toward innovation and job creation. The picture for ordinary Britons is just as bleak. The Bank of England has warned that Labour's tax-heavy autumn budget risks stifling economic recovery at a critical moment. Inflationary pressures, exacerbated by higher business costs, threaten to further erode household purchasing power. With job cuts mounting and real wages stagnating, the very families Labour promised to protect are finding themselves caught in the crossfire. Adding fuel to the fire, Kemi Badenoch, shadow leader of the opposition, launched a blistering critique of Labour's economic strategy. Badenoch described the national insurance hike as not coherent and accused Labour of prioritising short-term revenue gains over long-term economic growth. In a fiery statement, she said, "This policy signals lower pay while keeping prices high. It's punishing businesses and stifling growth, a recipe for disaster." Badenoch contrasted Labour's approach with what the Conservatives would have done, emphasising tax relief for businesses and policies designed to incentivise investment and innovation. She accused Reeves and Starmer of creating an economic environment that penalises success and stifles ambition. Reeves, however, remains resolute. She argues that the £20 billion generated by the national insurance levy is essential for delivering Labour's vision of a fairer society. According to her, these funds will strengthen public services, reduce inequality, and create opportunities for future generations. But even within Labour's ranks, murmurs of dissent are growing louder, with some questioning whether the party's economic strategy is sustainable in the face of mounting challenges. If this weren't enough to handle, Labour is now grappling with a second political crisis, the Waspy pension scandal. The Women Against State Pension Inequality Waspy campaign has accused Labour leader Keir Starmer of spreading dangerous misinformation about state pension age changes. During Prime Minister's questions, Starmer claimed 90% of women were aware of the changes to their state pension age. Angela Madden, chair of the Waspy campaign, was quick to respond, calling Starmer's statement both misleading and offensive. This isn't just misleading, it's an insult to millions of 1950s-born women blindsided by these changes. The Ombudsman's findings appear to support Madden's position. According to the report, 60% of affected women had no knowledge of the changes until it was too late to make necessary adjustments to their retirement plans. Madden accused Labour of cherry-picking statistics to downplay the scale of the hardship caused by these changes. Liz Kendall, Labour's Work and Pension Secretary, offered an apology for the handling of the pension changes, but refused to commit to compensation for the affected women. Madden, undeterred, vowed to continue the fight. "We are not giving up. Keir Starmer has not heard the last of this issue. The Labour government must act now to address this injustice." The Waspy campaign is gathering momentum, with over 300 MPs publicly pledging their support for compensation. The controversy has only added to Labour's growing list of challenges as the party struggles to maintain its credibility in the face of dual scandals. For Reeves and Starmer, the stakes couldn't be higher. Labour came into office on a wave of optimism, promising bold solutions to Britain's challenges. But with businesses faltering, wages stagnating and public trust eroding, the cracks in their vision are becoming increasingly apparent. The question now is whether Labour can weather the storm and deliver on its promises, or if these scandals will prove to be the undoing of their government. If you want to stay up to date on this explosive saga, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and stay tuned. From Rachel Reeves's economic controversies to the Waspy women's relentless fight for justice, we're bringing you every shocking twist and turn. Don't miss a single moment of this scandal-filled drama. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more political scandals.